Hello YouTubes. This little beastie is a GP18 made by Mehano but sold as a Bachman. So it's got the weight of a Bachman, it's got the all-wheel pickup of a Bachman. Unfortunately, it runs like a Mehano. Now, nothing against Mehanos, but I do feel that they skimped on the motors on the early models. Today I'm going to replace the motor on this with another budget motor, but I think this one is going to make a huge improvement. This little loco is actually in perfect condition. Now obviously it's a budget loco, very plasticky, big thick plastic handrails, colours a bit bright and garish, but you know, it's designed for a different market. And $20 from a train show in perfect condition, you really can't complain, other than the way it runs at slow speeds. I'm going to make it run as good as a high quality loco using one of these $1 motors that I got from AliExpress. Seriously, $1. Or maybe an extra 10 cents with shipping included. I did buy 20 of them. Let's get started. First then, we are going to remove the shell or body. We have one screw holding in the fuel tank / weight. You see those two black clips there? They're holding on a clip that holds the motor in around that side, I believe, but we'll find out when we get in. So we've got two screws there, and there's a little hook at the back that hold the body onto the chassis. So we'll get them off. So it looks like someone has been in here before, because this screw has been over tightened and lost its thread in the inside. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on in here. So we lever this bit up, and then with that little hook at the back, you need to pull it towards me, and that'll come out there. Another weight in the top. So plenty of weight in this. As you can see, we have all-wheel drive, little bulb at the front. All going to plan, I'll replace that with an LED, but that's not what we're doing at the moment. We just want to swap this motor over. So this motor is actually a little bit different, but I still think we're going to be able to get this in to the same spot. Let's find out. Obviously we're going to have to desolder these wires. Obviously we don't have access at the bottom yet, but remember what I said about those wee clips? Basically just squash them in, and the motor's going to pop out. You have to slide it towards that way a little bit, because there's a couple of hooks there. Motor comes out, and we can desolder the bottom one. Wow, quite long wires in this for a change. Let's try it this way. I don't want to get it too hot because it is a perfectly good motor if I want to revert back. Oh, it doesn't want to give up, does it? Come on, make the sacrifice. Jings. Okay. So, although it's a different size motor, this will still work better than that one. I think the problem is this is not a 5-pole motor. So what we obviously have to do is we have to swap over these little couplers. And they are the same dimension, or at least they have been so far in every one of these I've done so far. Pull this off, leave it off with a screwdriver, or whatever fancy tool you prefer. They're both the same each side, so don't worry about swapping them over. And that one's gone. Back in a sec, I'm on the hunt. Got it. Okay, so we can push these on to their new homes. Nice fit. And we can always adjust them in and out a little bit to suit our drive shafts. Right. This will go in here, but as you can see, those little hooks at the bottom are going to have to be, let's say, modified. They don't all have the same style of hook, which is unfortunate because they're going to get in the way. So I will have to change them. And by change them, I mean probably cut these ones off. We'll see. I could actually just trim them down and then it will slide back a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to have to take them off completely, unfortunately, because I want it to sit a bit there and they're going to sit right in the way. So it means that this is not going to be revertible, but I'm confident that this motor is going to do a much better job than that one. So I'm willing to take that sacrifice. Right, let me snip them off. It's unfortunate that we have to snip these off. The last one I did, the motor went straight in. I didn't have to do this butchery. So to get this new motor to stick in, let's see, is it going to be the right height? Let's see. I'm going to have to bend this terminal up a little bit. Bend that one down. Yep, it's going to clear the chassis so it can sit right down there. And to secure it, I'm going to use some universal motor mount. And that will just bring the height up a little bit. But obviously we can't put that in until we've got drive shafts in. And also, I want to wire it up first or solder it on first. So because we're not using the same motor, the polarity might be a wee bit different. So what I'll do is I'll temporarily solder these. There is a red dot there, but that doesn't always mean it's going to work there. But I'll solder that to that, the blue one to the bottom, see if it goes in the right direction. If it doesn't, I'll swap it over. Let's give that a quick try, shall we? Wee bit of flux on these terminals. In fact, I'll put a little bit of solder on them as well, just for good measure. Which will make it much easier to solder our wires on. So we're going to go with red at the top. Doesn't need to be perfect at the moment because we're really just at the testing stage. We can always tidy it up if we don't like it. Easier to do if I wasn't upside down. Actually, I think I'll solder it on that side and then we can flatten it down a bit. That makes sense. Not quite enough strands of wire there for my liking. Might have to adjust that one. But let's make sure the motor's the right way around first, shall we? That one's going to go down the way, so we'll put him there. So our motor's soldered on. I'll just quickly put it in its drive shafts and give it a quick test on the track. Back in a jiffy. Incredibly, I got it the right way around. So the red dot did actually work this time. So all we have to do, get some hot glue down there, plonk the motor on top, well, with the drive shafts in, hold it for a second, and then once it's cooled, it should be perfectly stable. I've done this before, trust me. Bit of glue along the bottom. It'll take a wee second to cool down. We're good for getting these in. Drive shafts in, motor down, make sure it's straight. Looks good. And that's perfectly strong, trust me, it's fine. So we can put our shell back on. Obviously if this all goes to plan, then I will be coming back to the bench to put an LED. But I'm not going to put it there because that sucks. I'll be putting the LED behind there, so an LED will have to go right in there. These ones are basically just cab lights, they're a bit rubbish. And obviously on DC, on just normal DC, they only get bright enough when you're going full speed, so it's kind of rubbish anyway. Right, shell should pop back on. Remember that little hook at the back goes in first, like that. Try not to break your handrails, even though they're like 2 inches thick. Looks good. So, 2 screws, although one of them doesn't exactly get tight. And the weight. And we're done. Right, let's get to the track. Are you ready to be blown away? Or at least mildly impressed? Right, let's see what the crawl is like. Remember before it was buzzing very loudly and jerking. That's actually wheel track noise. But that's a pretty impressive crawl, right? Oh my goodness. I love these wee motors, they're so good. I'll give it a bit more power. Lovely. Right, a bit more speed, get around the track. Now, at the end of the day, it's still a budget loco, so the gears might not be very quiet. But that's pretty nice. Gets a wee bit louder on my 18-inch curves, but that's down to the gearing and the wheels. The motor itself, very nice. Another successful upgrade, I feel. You know what? This needs weather, doesn't it? Just make it a bit more realistic. And yes, I did spot that little blue wire that I forgot to tuck into the shell, so I'll sort that. And it's definitely getting LEDs. You didn't even see the light on, it was working. So that is another one, and if I have a spare DCC decoder, I might throw it in there. It is all-wheel drive, it runs perfectly smooth. Although if it's going to haul freight, it probably needs even more weight. It's reasonably heavy. It'll probably haul around about 7 or 8 cars, trucks, whatever, without too much trouble. But yeah, definitely needs to a bit more realism to it. Anyway, thank you for watching. I don't know what I'm doing next. I'm just having fun now that I'm back to working my own trains. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon, and obviously thanks to all these lovely people. Bye for now.